This is the second generation sensation Brian Hardy, and you are watching the greatest YouTube series of all time, Stu's Wrestling Podcast.
You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's time for British Wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Honor.
I just got this feeling. This is the landmark 60th, 60 episodes, and my guest is none other than Mr. Richie Sorrentino, the head man at Good Times Guaranteed, a production company out of Staten Island, New York, a great friend. This is going to be very, very good. Richie has booked some of the top talent in wrestling from the glory years. Bret Hart, Scott Hall. There's a story about Kevin Nash too, a very funny story. He's booked Kevin subsequently, but there was a good story from years ago in a bar in a hotel. I'll let you listen to that one in a bit. He has also booked many stars of entertainment and the music industry over the years prior to doing wrestling conventions. So you get to hear about all this and more. So without further ado, my good friend Richie Sorrentino of Good Times Guaranteed. GTG, enjoy. My guest all the way from Staten Island, New York, my good brother, my friend, Mr. GTG himself, Mr. Richie Sorrentino. How's it going, Richie?
Honored to be here, Stewie. Honored to be here. Stu's Wrestling Podcast. I've been trying to be on this thing since day one. I know Bret Hart was calling me, and he's like, you got to join Stu's podcast. And all of a sudden, everybody's on it but me. And Barry's like, listen, you're not a wrestler, bro. I'm like, yeah, but I book a lot of wrestlers. He's like, but you're not a wrestler. I'm like, all right. And then over time, obviously, me and you, we spoke, Stu, a bunch of times. You know, yeah. So I'm glad to be here, bro. It's been a long time.
Thank you.
I have been able to make it.
I respect you. I look up to you, and you've been very, very good to me, especially through the last 6, 7, 8 months, man. It's 8 months, isn't it?
Since yeah, pretty much. Yes, man. This whole pandemic started.
Absolutely, man. So, first things first, I want to talk to you about promoting and the production side of Good Times Guaranteed, and what's been happening over the years. I think we'll start with that, mate. That's the good.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know me, whether you live in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, America, Richie Sorrentino is my name. I have a company called Good Times Guaranteed. We do a lot of wrestling signings, a lot of wrestling bookings. Lately, due to this pandemic, we're doing wrestling auctions on Facebook. Check out GTG Wrestling Auctions. Pretty good. Usually go on Wednesday nights, about 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, American time. Okay. Now, going back 20 years ago, used to work in music business. Worked with a bunch of acts. Did what I had to do. We talk on the microphone, hype up crowds. So from there, built connections, had little slogans. For example, the guy your mother warned you about, your ex-girlfriend's her DJ, current girlfriend's her bad boy, your favorite entertainer, Richie Sorrentino. Then I would go like this, GTG, throw the microphone up in the air, and the fans would go, Good Times Guaranteed. It was never meant to be a company. Now we have like beanie hats. I have one on me. Beanie hats. There's definitely one near me.
You need to send me one of these, yeah?
Hold on. There's definitely a beanie. Hold on. I definitely have one on this table. Yeah, there we go. Right here. So we got the little beanie hat.
Yeah.
Stuff. We're going to get one sent very soon. We got the little certificates here that, shows that, we were there when, items got done. But it was never meant to be that way. It was just a slogan I said in music. But 8, 9 years ago, I started working with wrestling guys. And, one thing led to another. And you guys are more than welcome. Check out YouTube or check out, GTG Wrestling Auctions on Facebook. Trying to build a little thing on Twitter and Instagram, but haven't really put too much time into it. But basically, Facebook's my main source. So what's up today, Stewie? What can I answer for you?
Just want to know, how obviously the first guys you booked as it pertains to wrestlers. Who were some of the first guys you worked with, building it up to where it is today? Okay. But obviously the inception. So in terms
of wrestling. So I worked for a DJ company. I used to work for a radio station. I'll get into that maybe later on in this conversation. But I worked for a DJ company. They did weddings, sweet 16s, communions, little family events. Somewhere along the lines, a guy had a baseball card store, another guy an ice cream store. The two guys were arch enemies. They both booked wrestling guys. I was cool with both guys. So one guy would book DiBiase, one guy would book Ric Flair. So I would show up at both. And if I couldn't be at both, I'd send one group of guys to one place, and I'd go to the other place. So, it was pretty cool. And then, I'm meeting new wrestling. I met Paul Bearer like that. I met Ted DiBiase like that. A bunch of guys I met through that way. One of the fans, he kept seeing me out. And again, I didn't really know this guy from a hole in the wall. And, became a good friend of mine later on, years later. And he came up to me and goes, Rich, listen, I don't know you that well. I see you with all these wrestling things, DJing and different things, hyping up the crowd. I would have a Jimmy Hart megaphone. It was cold. I said it was like 10 degrees outside. Jimmy Hart megaphone, be like, all right, guys, I know it's cold outside. Just wait. Come on, the guy's doing a shot thing in an ice cream store. Who the hell wants ice cream 10 degrees outside? But neither here nor there. So this guy's name's Lewis. He has his own wrestling thing he does, Ultimate Stars Promotions, if anyone wants to check them out. He approached me and he goes, listen, Rich, I heard you did a lot of music stuff. He didn't know too much about me. He just knew I booked a lot of music acts. He goes, I have this connection with Rob Terry, TNA at the time, back 2010, 2011 maybe. He goes, what do you think about we do this guy at a thing called Big Event? Big Event's a big known thing in New York. I said, you know what? How much is it going to cost me? He said XYZ. I said, you know what? I've always invested. I'm an investor. That's what I do. I do a bunch of things, but that's one of the things I do. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to invest. Let's see how it goes. So we rolled the dice on Rob Terry. He was the first guy that I officially booked as GTG. First guy.
He's from Wales as well, Richie.
Yeah.
He's south, I'm north, man. So yeah, I like Rob Terry. We need to try and get him on, actually. I've tried messaging him. You need to work your magic.
I haven't spoken with him in a while, man. He's been doing these bodybuilding tournaments.
Yeah. He's totally away from wrestling, isn't he? It looks that way at the moment. You gotta
look at it like this. Where can you make money? The guy, he had the look. He had the look, good physique. Can't knock that. Great guy. Nothing bad to say about him. But it's a politics game. They didn't train him right. They started him off too soon in the what was he, in Impact? They started him too soon in Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call them. Started them off too soon over there. And he he won titles, he did things there. But again, it's all about what the bookers want to see and what they want to do. But yeah, Rob's a great guy. I've worked with him a few times afterwards. Great guy. I've seen him at conventions. He's went out of his way. WrestleCon, they do Wrestlemania week. I'm sure you're familiar with that. WrestleCon, he came over to me once and he goes, Rich, listen, my vendor doesn't have 8x10s of me. Do you have any? I said, Rob, I don't have you booked. How the hell would I have your 8x10s? Some vendors, they don't know what the hell they're doing, man, in this wrestling thing.
At least you've done the entertainment biz for years, so yeah. You're legit, Rich. I'm not blowing smoke either. I'm just saying how it is. You do it properly.
I try, man. Listen, I always tell people, and I'm sure you see this on my Facebook, reputation matters. And anybody doesn't know me, Richie Sorrentino, you could Google it. You could Wikipedia. I'm not on Wikipedia yet. Not on there yet. But one day. I have done some other things, but I'm not going to get into that. We'll just stick with wrestling today. We can talk about some music stuff. But Wikipedia, I should be on with some TV stuff. But I'm not going to get into that today. We'll stick with the wrestling. So what do we got, Stu? What do you got for me? What questions?
Right. What I want to ask now, Rich, we'll follow on from what we've been talking about. Who do you want to book in the future? I know at the moment it's kind of hard booking events, but who's in the pipeline? Who would you like to get as well? That's what I want to ask you. Okay. Which guys are on the hit list, on Richie Sorrentino's hit list?
No problem. A lot of guys, I repeat and I book them. Bret Hart, I book him every year, WrestleCon. Scott Hall, I book a few times a year. Horowitz is my guy. I got to thank Barry Horowitz, Parent back. I know he was on your show. Barry Horowitz is my guy. Was a big help to Good Times Guaranteed Facebook group. When we started this whole Good Times Guaranteed thing as like a company, I didn't take it seriously. It was just something we put on the ads. It was a slogan I used. And then, we did it. And then I was doing things with other people. I really didn't push it. But once this pandemic hit, everyone's like, Rich, you got to push it. You got to push it. I had shirts in the past done, and I didn't push it. This time around, we got have you seen the group? We got 6,000 people in there now. It's growing every day.
Yeah, man. It's brilliant.
Well, Barry, I got to thank. So,
yeah, man.
Deborah Michaels, she fell through on a deal. Tori Wilson, I'm trying to work on. So it's just a matter of them feeling safe. That's really the problem. And then in the United States, it seems everybody's a vendor now all of a sudden through this pandemic.
Yeah.
So, if I book a guy, then everybody wants to book a guy, and vice versa. So there's certain guys I wanted to book, and I had to turn them down.
The difference is, though, Rich, you're known. These fly-by-night guys that are setting up because they've got nothing better to do.
Right. I get you.
You know what you're doing. That's the difference. So
if a fan comes in, I didn't mean to cut you off. If a fan comes in and they want to get, let's say, Tugboat, and they already booked him 2 weeks ago, well, what good is it for me to bring him in live? Mm-hmm. the fan doesn't know really who's popular, not only who are popular, but who's the known guy and who's not. They're just on there browsing and they're looking, oh, Facebook Live, this is cool, and I'll share other people's stuff. Me personally, it's not about, oh, Richie Sorrentino, oh, GTG's the best. Because I don't think that way.
No.
A friend of mine or a buddy of mine that I network with, I give my friend Nick, and I'll push other people in this chat. Captain's Corner's name of his company, you guys want to check him out. He had Ronnie Garvin. It was no conflict to me. I was doing nothing that night. Hit the little share button on Facebook. If the guy made sales from it, God bless, But that's how I am.
Absolutely, man. And going to obviously when you do these conventions and stuff like that, are you running around like a madman sorting stuff out, or is it pretty calm? That's what I want to know. The day of the event, how is Richie Sorrentino? What's his psyche? What's his mindset?
It depends on what we're doing. So I'll be honest, man. Anything WrestleCon related, WrestleMania week, stressful week, man. Stressful week. You got these guys with you, especially if you got multiple guys, multiple personalities around you. Like, again, I book Bret Hart every year at WrestleCon. If anybody's ever been to a WrestleCon or WWE Fan Access, it's packed, okay? So WrestleMania week, we had Bret the Hitman Hart 2 years ago, because last year was no WrestleMania, right? 2 years ago, New York City, some hotel. Don't know the name of it, can't think of it. Marriott, maybe? Don't call me, okay? Bret Hart's line had the longest line in the place. So people had to wait 2 or 3 hours for this guy. One lady fell. She had she was dehydrated. I gave her water and everything. Yeah. Oh, bad. What can you do? The guy's line was so long, But, Bret, he's paid to be there a certain amount of hours. So if fans still want to buy, it's like, do you spend more money to pay for the guy? You want to get as many people in as you can. But then Bret's going to talk to the fan. Bret's a very nice guy. I know Bret's one of your favorite guys.
Absolutely. Hands down. Hands down, Rich, the greatest.
Right. Bret's a very cool guy. Does he have his moments? He have his days. Everybody has a bad day. Mm-hmm. But like Bret, when I had him the day when he got jumped at the Hall of Fame thing. So he had to leave my thing early to go to Hall of Fame. I was supposed to go there. I think I told you this once in private. I was supposed to go to that Hall of Fame thing. And my father called me. He's the one who got me into wrestling. And he goes, listen, New Japan guys who made Masquerade Garden. My friends backed out, like his friends, whoever it was, whoever his friends are. They backed out. He had extra tickets. So you know what, Dad? I'm 7 blocks away. I'll go there instead of going to Hall of Fame. Had I been to Hall of Fame, I would have been right there when Bret got jumped. Smart. Sometimes things weren't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be there that night.
Bit of a silly moment from that guy when Travis Brown, ex-UFC's front row with Ronda, and he decides to jump Bret.
It's the stupid thing, right? They all pounded on him.
Yeah.
They all pounded on him. I'll just leave it like this. You had a guy who was on your show who's related to the Harts, pounded on him pretty good. I'll leave it at that. You look at your past shows. There's a guy pounded on the. I don't know if it's on the television or not, but he pounded on the guy pretty good.
Yeah, man. Rich, I want to ask you now, who else have you been booking outside of wrestling? Because I know you book other people from entertainment as well, so it'd be cool to...
all right. So, I do a bunch of different things, like he said earlier. I do music stuff. Now, music stuff, I kind of backtracked a little bit. I got older now. My friends started having kids, started getting married. So, I did a lot of nightlife, nightclubs and concerts and things like that. So, I see it more like this, that, as you get older, things take a little bit of a break, and then there's reunion parties. Once there's reunion parties of things I did when I was younger, I'm sure I'll be on those shows. Plenty of flyers I was on as an entertainer. So I see it more as when I work with wrestling guys, I'm an entertainer like they were. Other guys are just promoters. It's not what I do. Like, we could book a whole convention. If someone wants to book me and they want to book a whole convention, we could do that. Other guys can't. But in terms of people that we book and we work with, there was a girl she was in your country. She did a show. Marissa Jade. She was in Big Brother Celebrity Series. Marissa Jade.
Absolutely, she was. She was on my show. She was actually at my house. This house you see right in the background. She was here in my apartment. Marissa Jade. She did a live with us. She's been here a few times since. Very nice girl. Lives in Staten Island. Gina Marie Zimmerman. She was on another show, Staten Island. She's the real princess of Staten Island. If you guys know the Carmella story. If you don't, I'll be more than happy to tell you, Stewie, if you guys don't know. Fire it for my listeners. You've told me, but it's a general thing, man. Tell the story about Gina Marie.
Okay, so you guys, there's a girl named Gina Marie Zimmerman who's on the show in America called Big Brother. There's about 20 of them. So Big Brother season 15 she was on. Now, Carmella, when she first came with Enzo and all of them, the whole gimmick was based off of Gina Marie Zimmerman, the whole gimmick. And Enzo's a vouch for this. He did a video recently. I don't know if I sent you the video, Stewie. I might have. When he plugs Gina Marie. If I didn't send it to you, I'll send it to you privately. But this girl's, and again, it's not Carmella's fault in any way. This was all WWE. They saw Gina Marie. Like, the real Princess Staten Island. And what's her name? Carmella. She's never been to Staten Island. Girls from Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah. How they talk, and how New Yorkers talk, like how I talk, and how they talk in Boston. It's a little different.
Yeah, man.
So it is what it is. But yeah, they basically took a whole gimmick, and they rode with it. And they made good money. And now I think Carmella's doing a new gimmick now. I think she changed the gimmick a little bit, because that story the Gina Marie thing wasn't really known until I started making it more known this year. Because Gina Marie was more the type, like, she did her show, and then she was like, you know what, I want to get back to normal life. She wasn't really big into, I'm a reality star. She did a few conventions. She did one with, she did a big event, which is in New York City, bigeventny.com. And they do a lot of, anybody wants to come to the United States, you're more than welcome to come. They do it twice a year. So it was Gina Marie Zimmerman and Angelina from Jersey Shore. They were together, sitting at a table. I didn't have them booked. But Gina Marie was about to get a Hulk Hogan pick. And Angelina was with Gina Marie. And they're like, we're getting a Hulk Hogan pick. And I had somebody with me. I don't remember who it was, couldn't tell you. But when I heard the word Hulk Hogan, I said, I'm going with you guys. Because I knew Angelina, too, from Jersey. I knew her. A lot of people, Staten Island, Brooklyn people. I can't make this up. So, like, when I lived in Staten Island, Brooklyn, New York, they're all from this area. So when Angela said, we're getting Hulk Hogan right now. Okay, I just invited myself to go with them. It's like, Hulk Hogan? Who the hell doesn't want to meet him? So I took their picks with Hulk Hogan, and I said, Angelina, take my pick with Hulk Hogan. I got this blurry freaking pick with Hulk Hogan. And it's all Angelina's fault. I'll show you the pick. Yeah. It's the worst pick in the world. And every time I see this girl, and if anybody sees Angelina, or you want to tweet her, or you want Instagram her, you tell her, Richie Sorrentino said, you screwed up his Instagram. You shouldn't have. You want to Instagram, Facebook. You tell her she screwed up my fucking photo.
At least the girls had their photos, though, Rich.
Oh yeah, they got their photos.
Yeah, man, you got screwed.
My photos blurry as can be, but there's no dispute that I was with the guy. So I'm glad that I got the photo with him. I did meet Hogan 2 other times, but Hogan's a busy guy. It's hard to get a picture with him.
How was he? How was Hogan?
He was good. He was good. Like I said, he was there doing his fan, meet and greet stuff. So I didn't get to talk to him long. However, Jimmy Hart's a good buddy of mine. Jimmy Hart I booked a lot of times. Jimmy Hart, I probably would say, I probably booked the most out of talents. And a few times Hulk Hogan's called Jimmy Hart. And Jimmy Hart's put him on speaker, and Hogan spoke to him. Jimmy and Hogan are close. They own a lot of businesses together.
Absolutely.
Whether it's known or not known, I'm telling you guys flat out. They own a lot of businesses. So Jimmy and Hulk always talk. Jimmy owes Hulk a lot of stuff, and Hulk owes whatever went on in the 1980s, I don't know. But Hogan's very loyal to Jimmy, and Jimmy's very loyal to Hogan. I'll tell you the first thing Jimmy ever told me when I booked him. He goes, Rich, I'll come to any show you want as long as WWE or Hulk Hogan doesn't tell me to cancel. First thing Jimmy Hart ever told me.
He never ages, Jimmy. He still looks. He
don't age. Yeah.
He looks superb. He looks
everything.
And let's not forget, he was a musician as well. He was in the band years ago prior to wrestling.
Yeah. He was in the Gentrys.
Yeah, man.
No, they were like number 5 in America back in 1950s, maybe 60s, something like that. And he sang a lot of WWE songs. Jimmy Hart, he did his thing.
He's cool, man. In terms of, you've worked with some musicians who've done some stuff with WWE. Can you tell us, the listeners, the viewers, a bit more about that as well?
Sure. Yeah, there's a few, but the main 2, I'll just go with the recent wrestling guys, the recent ones. So you guys already know Jimmy Hart, he did whatever he did. He sang a lot of the songs with Jim Johnston was the background doing the instrumentals and stuff. Good music back then. I think I spoke to you about that the other day too.
Absolutely,
music
man.
Was way better back then.
Well, better. The entrance music is fantastic.
Oh yeah, everybody knew the songs. Today, the guys' songs, and the songs are good. They just changed the songs for no reason. Bret Hart's song came out, everybody was good to go. So Michael, so whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, everybody knew their songs. But so you got Kim Sazi for one. She sings the Bella Twins theme songs. The one with the 2 of them together. So Kim Sazi, she's a girl from Long Island, New York. This girl, I booked her early 2000s. She'd work a lot of dance music scene. That's what I was in. She had a song called Feeling Me. She had a few other songs. Feel Your Love Tonight. you know, like I said, she was big in like New York, New Jersey, like East Coast of the United States. She wasn't big all over the country. She wasn't Selena Gomez big. But this girl ended up years later working with WWE, doing the things there. And then you're familiar with the Randy Orton theme song, his current song?
Well, Red Theory played it live at WrestleMania, WrestleMania 30 when I was there.
Yep, the lead musician of that, the guy's name is Richard Luzzy. I knew him back in the day. Rich Luzzy, Digital Allies, another guy from Long Island. I was from Staten Island. So we kind of knew the same people. And there was a thing called KTU Radio out in New York City. And both of those acts played on that radio station. I was working at KTU. I was also doing nightlife events. I was also booking talent. So why would I not book these guys who are playing on the radio when I get them cheaper? So it made sense for me to book them. Who would have thought 15, 17 years later, they'd be singing WWF songs? Or WWE, rather. Who would have thought? You know, there's a few other artists, too, but those are the main two since, you know, those are the more popular ones of newer talent.
He's got a very distinctive voice as well, to be fair. Doesn't sound like anybody else with his vocal. Oh, yeah, that's what I find, anyway.
See, I do have eyes, guys. There's a reason I wear my sunglasses, I'll tell you. So this is my gimmick now when I do my shows. I wear the aviators. So it's like, Rich, what are you bringing back? The movie Top Gun? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I do have eyes, have nice little blue eyes out there. But yeah, I do like the aviators. Looks cool, I think, you know. But that's why I do that. But actually, I'll make you laugh. The first time I ever wore aviators on a live, I had a bad migraine that day. We were going to cancel the show. And I have other guys I work with in GTG, and they have items and stuff like, Rich, you need to talk. We can't talk. Like, my head is pounding. So we were talking about the aviator. So I wasn't going to do the show. I said, we're not doing it tonight. We're doing it another night. And everybody got on my case. And you know what? If I put the shades on, it'd be dark. I could sell the stuff. Within 10, 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes we watched the video, you could see I wasn't all there. 15 minutes in, headaches started going away. From that moment on, everyone was like, dude, the aviators look good on you. Guys and girls said this. Listen, I don't mind the girls telling me. Guys saying it to me, it's a little creepy, nothing against it. A little creepy, guys saying it to me. The girls saying it to me, I didn't mind, you know. But teach their own, you know. Everybody's got their way of doing things, and it's cool. But yeah, the aviators, they kind of caught on, and it's become a thing, so I just stick with it now. When I do videos again, I do have eyes. Yeah, they are nice little bit of eyes. I do have eyes. Like, Rich, you don't have eyes? I have eyes.
Rich, tell the listeners and viewers, obviously I know the answer to this because I message you quite a lot during the week. Who do you get compared to? Your lookalikes? That's what I want the people to hear about.
Oh, my lookalikes? Oh, yeah. Forget it, man. I'll tell you all three of them right now. There's three of them, I think. Might even be four, but I'll go with the ones I can think of off the top of my head. So you got Mickie James' ex, the guy from the Spirit Squad, Kenny Dykstra.
Yeah.
Right, so that guy off the top, he said my hair spiked. If anybody wants to check out my Facebook, or I don't know if it's on Instagram, maybe Twitter. I don't really use Instagram or Twitter, guys, so I guess Facebook's my best way to go. I have my hair flipped. So does this guy. You know, he's a skinny guy. Like, if you look, I'm not the biggest guy in the room. But so he's lanky guy, just a little more cut than I am. But he had a spiky hair, so did I. So me and him kind of looked similar. So me and him always got compared. Now you got Orange Cassidy only because of the shades. I usually wear the light skin shades, the light ones I usually wear. So me and him always get compared now. Plus his hair is short, you know. I'll let his hair grow a little bit, I guess. I don't see me in Orange Cassidy. The other guy, I see it. Orange Cassidy, other than the shades, I don't see it. Some people say that big Owen Hart due to the big nose and the eyes and the big.
You've got the tape. You've got the tape on the door there as well. The Owen Hart.
Yeah, the tape. Yeah, it's like Halloween. Yeah. Well, yeah, we got the tape for Owen Hart. Yeah, for the Yeah, I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, we got that tape for the Owen Hart Siren version. But yeah, my cousin put that up for like Halloween decorations. I don't know why, but teach their own. Don't care what people do. Like I said, if you watch my videos, guys, I know Stewie's watching my videos. People just show up at my house to eat my food. They show up. I can't control that. But yeah, there's like the Owen Hart Sirens back there when he did that. Was he Nation of Domination at that time?
Yeah, he was switching.
But those are the three. Those are the three guys I get compared to, especially Dykstra, because I booked Mickie James a lot when she was in TNA, and I'd always hear about it. Oh, you two are a good couple. Why'd you break up? And I'm like, I never dated her. Like they thought I was that guy, you know. So I was like, I gotta buy a green jumpsuit. If anybody knows, and maybe your country has them, where they get the generic, you know, jumpsuits and stuff, where you can like buy customized cosplay things, I will gladly buy a Spirit Squad outfit. They don't have them in America. I tried.
I'll put the word out, Rich. I'll see if someone can do it. Rich, I want to get back to it again. Who has been your favourite people to book over the years in wrestling? Go with the wrestlers first, because obviously we're a wrestling show.
No, let's stick with wrestling. Favorite guys to book in wrestling. Let's see. Okay, Scott Hall. You're going to hear good stories. You're going to hear bad stories about. I'm not going to dispute there's some bad stories. Scott Hall, when he's on his game, without his demons, great guy. Scott Hall's definitely told me a lot about the business. Scott Hall's definitely good. Jimmy Hart, definitely good. Barry Horowitz, definitely good. I'm not just saying that because he's my sponsor, Good Times Guaranteed. But Barry, definitely good guy. Who else? Let's see. Mickie James, when she was in TNA, I kind of lost touch with her since she went back to WWE. Mickie James was good. Her husband, Magnus, she dated later on and worked with him a few times. He was a good guy. But I would say Mickie James, Scott Hall, Jimmy Hart. Bret Hart, class act guy. It was just hard to talk with him because he's busy. Bret Hart, you really couldn't interact with him a lot as much. Some years I did it, some years I didn't. The Anvil, before he had the old timers, he was a very good guy. Even when he didn't have the old timers, he had some good stories. A lot of these guys, when you work with them and they pass away, I remember calling his wife like the next day he passed away. I didn't know what to say, because she started coming out with us at the end because he was getting old timers. And, it is what it is. But, Jim Nardo, we had some good times. Tyson Kidd, you had on your show, we had some good times. Yeah. Bob Holly, great guy. But definitely Mickie James, Jimmy Hart, Scott Hall, Barry Horowitz, no particular order. Those four. Maybe I'm missing somebody that I'm thinking of. Nash, I can't put on the list. There's stories with that. If you want to go into that, we could go into that.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, don't. I go in for the scoop, Rich. You can't just you can't scoot round Kevin Nash.
Before I get into this, it's all solved now. Me and Nash were cool. There's no problems. Yeah. But I'm going to tell the story how it is, and Kevin will tell you the same story. Kevin was booked by me to do an event. Now, I did go through middlemen being the guys who ran the event. So he thought they booked him and I worked for them. Wasn't the story. So he was misinformed from the start. I didn't know that. I booked this hotel room. I said no incidentals. For those who don't know, that means nothing gets charged to the rooms. Okay? This guy's spending money left and right at the bar. Now, I'm at the bar. I'm drinking. I'm on the opposite side of the bar. He's on one side of the bar. My credit card company calls me. Now, I work in the credit field, so this was even more funny about it. They're like, did you happen to spend $3,000, $4,000? And I'm like, no, like at this hotel. I'm like, I'm at the hotel right now. I maybe spent $30, but not on this credit card. They're like, well, how good is this credit card? I'm like, wait a second. I use this for the hotel. I'm looking across to see Nash. So my crazy ass, drunk as could be, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Kevin, we need to talk. Because nobody don't. I said, no, Kevin, we need to talk. Now I'm saying this nice politely now. It wasn't nice and politely when this happened. Pretty stupid move on my part. Kevin's a big dude, big guy. Okay. And I have booked Kevin 3 or 4 times since. So, whatever happened, happened. So what ended up happening was that, Kevin, this money's coming off the top of your money tomorrow. Because it was like the night before the event. And he's like, no, you're paying me my money tomorrow. I'm like, no, I'm not paying you money. And I have partners in this and everything. I said, no, I'm not paying you money tomorrow. You owe me money for the alcohol. This guy has me up against the wall. He's like, well, what are you going to do about it now? So I'm not going to do nothing about it. I hope you beat this shit out of me right now. And like the fans, they knew me, so they were tape recording. I said, listen, Kevin, I'm not paying you tomorrow. And I was calm, collective, maybe a little bit more calm and collective than I sound now because I was drinking, he was drinking. I'm telling you the best PG-rated version of this I can tell. He had me up against the wall. Definitely was threatened by the man. Mickie James came in and she saved the day. She goes, Kevin, put fucking Sorrentino down. Okay? Put him down. Mickie James got him off of me. Me and Mickie James, we went off. We went to the bar, whatever we did over there at the bar. Mickie James, very nice girl, very polite before she was married. Very cool girl, hang out with. Once she was married, I really tried to, business was business. We still hung out and stuff, but I always wanted to make sure the husband was included so that nobody got any wrong ideas. Yeah, but the girls, the girls you got to watch when you work with them because you could be accused of things. And listen, I've been lucky enough to work with girls that nobody's accused me of anything. Nobody's like, I've worked with Rebel. She was at TNA. She's in AEW now. I've worked with Renee Michelle. She's married to Drake Maverick. He's also a UK guy, Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud.
Absolutely, mate. He's Birmingham, Midlands.
I remember being in the car with her and who was the guy, Nigel McGuinness. They were in the car. And I didn't know Nigel McGuinness and Drake Maverick were really close years ago. I never knew that. So Renee Michelle, when she was talking to Nigel, they really didn't know each other that well. And he was saying how much he knew Drake Maverick. His real name is James, by the way. So if I say Rockstar Spud or this or James, James is the guy's name. So James, and they're talking back and forth in the car. I'm like, wait a second. Renee, you never really like met Nigel McGuinness? Like you did WWE stuff. She goes, I don't really know him. But like Nigel McGuinness and Rockstar Spud, whatever you want to call them, they started out UK together. They knew each other well. Small world sometimes. You never know who's going to be in the car with you when you do these wrestling things. And then you get stuck sometimes with people in your car that they're not even your talent. And someone's like, hey, listen, drop them off the airport. They're going to the same place as you. You remember the guy, Yoshi Tatsu?
I do. I've met Yoshi at WrestleMania 29 Fan Access when it was at the Meadow. It wasn't at the Meadowlands, was it? Where was Access, Rich? 29. Was it at the? It wasn't at MSG, was it? Where did they do Access?
That was probably in New Jersey somewhere, I think.
Meadowlands, wasn't it? I think, and they.
It was at the Meadowlands. It was that thing.
And they did Raw. They moved out
was that Meadowlands. Is that MetLife Stadium?
Sorry. Anyway, I've sidetracked. Yeah.
No, it's all good. They might have did it in if they didn't do it in New Jersey, then they did it in New York. So the thing with New Jersey is, with New York is, there's like a little tunnel, and it's so close that they do a lot of things together. Mm-hmm. It's like in football, for example, if anybody watches the National Football League in America, it'd be like New York Giants, New York Jets. To me, they're the New Jersey Jets and the New York Giants. I don't take them seriously as a New York team. Buffalo Bills are really New York, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's a story for another day. But Yoshi Tatsu, we got him in the car. Now Mike Knox was with me. He knew how to speak Japanese because they wrestled in Japan. Mm-hmm. So Mike Knox, he came with us. You know, he was already with us. We're going to the same airport. 3-hour car ride back to where we had to go. Yoshi Tatsu, something happened with him and Jinder Mahal. Jinder wasn't the champ yet, so he got released the first time. So he was at the same place, but him and Yoshi Tatsu got into like an incident. So instead of something happening with them two, we like, Yoshi, just come with us. But I didn't understand the word that the man said. Okay, very little English he spoke. But there's a story behind this. So we got him to the airport, got Mike Knox to the airport. Mike Knox, I think he's running for governor or something. So I kind of lost touch with him, but he's on Facebook if anybody wants to check him out. And Yoshi Tatsu the next week, and I always feel bad for this because if I would never drop him off at the airport, this would never happen. The next week, AJ Styles in the Bullet Club, New Japan, Yoshi Tatsu broke his neck through the Styles clash.
Yeah.
If he was never on an airplane, that would have never happened. I was going to took him to the airport.
Rich!
You can't make this stuff up. Stuff just happens. You can't make it up.
Who's been, if it's all right asking who's been hard work to work with? I know you said about the incident with Nash, but it's all cool now.
Like I said, the Nash, we had that one incident, and then I've worked with Nash a few times since. Mm-hmm. And, and Scott and I get along good. Scott and Kevin obviously get along good. Scott kind of told Kevin, hey, listen, Rich was just he was his own promoter. Like, I don't know what he's his own promoter because I'm not a promoter, but he was his own vendor, salesman. Mm-hmm. He was his own salesman. And, like, he booked through the guys who ran the event. And that was my mistake. I booked through those guys, so he thought I worked for them. So he figured, okay, listen, these guys are making so much money throwing the event. He thought it was their money, not my money. So me and Kevin, we spoke about it. We've done other shows. No problem with Kevin. Difficult to work with. And again, a lot of these guys, there's good stories and bad stories. I've worked with Sid a few times. He's another one. Guy grabbed me. I asked him to stay next for 10 minutes because we had Bret. This is New Orleans, okay? I don't remember much of the story. I drank. If anybody ever been to New Orleans, the United States, I've been. Street, Canal Street, stay far away. Yeah. You drink those hurricanes and those grenades, it is bad, okay?
It's good fun, though. It's good fun, though, there, Rich.
I don't remember much about New Orleans, but I can tell you this. Bret Hart had a long line. So I had Bret that time. I had Sid. I had Melissa Santos, who was married to Brian Cage.
Yeah.
I had Austin Aries, who just got released. And I believe I had somebody at New Orleans. I had Jim Neidhart and Jimmy Hart right before there was last time they were all together. Okay, so Jimmy Hart's line was long. Not Jimmy Hart. Bret Hart's line was long. So when Sid's time was up, half the people for Sid's line were really on Bret's line. They didn't realize it. I'm like, Sid, listen, stay here an extra 15 minutes. You got paid good money. Now, Sid, he made good money that weekend. So I'm not staying. I want X, Y, and Z. He wanted some party favors, if you catch my drift. Okay? He wanted some party favors. I'm like, listen, you're not getting those favors until you kill another 10, 15 minutes. I didn't care what the price was going to be. Sid grabs me. And again, it's like a Mickie James story all over again. Bob Holly comes out of nowhere. I didn't even have Bob Holly, but I didn't even know Bob Holly was in the building. And Bob Holly gets right in Sid's face. He goes, listen, Richie Sorrentino, you don't touch this guy. And they worked it out, and Bob Holly's like, Rich, listen, just walk away. You have other guys here. Sid's going to do the right thing. Just sit there 15 minutes. You're going to sign all the guys' stuff. So I walked away, spoke to Bob a few days later, and Bob was like, hey, listen, I used to ride with Sid back in the day. We used to ride together. And that's the only reason why Sid didn't choke slam you to the table. It's like, okay, but you got to understand, Bob, it's a business. I needed my money. You know what I mean? The guy got paid good money. A lot of fans couldn't get to see him. I'm willing to pay him extra money to stay long. I stay an extra 15 minutes. Listen, these guys are getting paid $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, okay, per day. I had the guy there for 2 days. You can't stay an extra 15 minutes, and I'm still willing to pay you? Now, I've spoken to Sid since. He's done a GTG video for me. Sid's one of those guys, it's like a Scott Hall type thing. They have their good days, they have their bad days. Again, Scott Hall's not a bad guy.
No.
It's not a bad guy. Sid is not a bad guy either. It's just that sometimes certain demons, I'll leave it at that. Because these guys, Scott Hall, I consider a friend. Sid is a guy I booked. I can't really consider him a friend. I'd be lying if I say he's a friend. He's a guy I booked. But like Scott's guys, I could call him up. He's a friend of mine. Tony Atlas, he's a friend of mine.
Absolutely.
Rick Allen, I think he was on your show.
He was. I love Rick.
Rick Allen, a good friend
Rick,
of mine. I don't even have his hat here. But I always wear his, he has a security company out in New York City.
Yep.
Guy's a millionaire. Nobody knows this. He's a millionaire. Owns this big security company, left wrestling. It was like, oh man, this guy did nothing. No, he owns this big, huge security company, and he does have the best face masks for this pandemic. I tried on 20 different ones, and this guy sent me the best one, and I'm waiting to get more from him. So Rick Allen, if you ever watch this video, send him over to my house. You know my address, Rick.
What a lovely,
Rick Allen, great guy.
What a lovely man he is, down to earth, man.
He's a good guy. Tugboat's another one, very easy to work with. Sometimes on Facebook it's hard to get a hold of him, but once you get him on person, Tugboat I've never had an issue with. There's certain guys, once you're with them, you're good to go. Jimmy Hart's always been fun. Tugboats came, we went to Rocky statue. You remember Reno Riggins? Yeah. I don't know if he did your show or not.
He will be coming on. I've been in contact with him.
Good guy. I met him one time. A friend of mine, Jerry, had him. And he'll tell you this. Ask him about the Rocky statue. Ask him who he was with, okay? Ask him, okay? So now, he was with my friend Jerry. Same last name as me, no relation. Me and Reno Riggins. And we're running up the Rocky steps. We're running up the steps. Barry Horowitz was so mad that he didn't come. Okay, I got 2 Rocky stories. That one with Reno Riggins. And then Tugboat was supposed to have a Shockmaster helmet. I'm walking around the Rocky statue with the helmet on, walking around. Because they move the statue every so often, they move it around. It's like with the steps, I remember wearing the Shockmaster helmet, I almost fell off my ass with the helmet. Because I would just take this guy's helmet. You cannot see. Listen, if anybody ever saw a Shockmaster helmet, I don't know if anybody did or not. If you had any fan access or any convention, whether it's in United Kingdom, United States, Germany, or wherever, Asia. Okay, if you see that Shockmaster helmet, the real one, and you put that on, you cannot see anything. So I can understand why the man fell. Nothing to do with the man lumber. You can't see nothing. And these shades are pretty dark. I can't see out of these. You can only imagine in that guy's thing. You can't breathe in the thing.
No.
You can't see it. And then guy just falls right down. But no, Fred's a good sport, man. I'll give it to Fred. People bring that up to him all the time. It's like, damn, this guy did so much in wrestling. He's remembered for the Shockmaster.
He did, mate. He was... Oh. My dad's favourite tag team, the Natural Disasters, when we were younger. He loved them. He loved Earthquake and Typhoon, man. They're brilliant. Rich, I think we should segue into that. We haven't spoken about when you watched wrestling as a kid. I wanted to ask you about that as well. That was on my list of stuff to ask.
Yeah, sure. Ask away, man.
Yeah, just like when,
up, I think. When did you with me, right?
Yeah. When did you first encounter pro wrestling as a kid? And just the origin.
So it kind of got like forced. It kind of got forced on me. I would be given like LJN toys from my parents. I would be Hulk Hogan, those Tonka things. They came out later, right? So let's just stick with the LJNs. I got that big wrestling LJN ring. You remember them? The big rubber, big rubber guys.
Yeah,
big ring. I got those as a little kid. I played with them. I played with He-Man. I would play with who whoever was 80s. If they were 80s cartoons, I'd play with them. So I'll play with these toys, whatever the case, figures, whatever you want to call them. You know, it's like there's Hulk Hogan, there's this one. Then my father's watching wrestling. I'm like, Hogan, or like whoever the guys were, you know, Savage, like the main guys, you know. So I would say probably I was born 1984, probably about 3-4 years old is when I really started knowing the guys' names, what was going on. Did I watch it as, you know, like as me and you were talking and putting my full attention into it? No, but casually in passing as I'm playing with my toys or doing other things or eating whatever I was eating as a little kid, I would definitely be like, damn, these guys are pretty good, man. The storytelling was good, you know. And I always, you know, I was a big Hogan fan. But I did cheer for the bad guys. Rick Rude was one of my guys. Rick Rude versus Warrior. I was going for Rick Rude. Hogan. When Warrior beat Hogan, I was pissed when Warrior beat him.
See, there were certain times. I prefer Warrior Rich. I've got to be honest. Yeah, see, I liked Hogan.
I didn't like Warrior until he started fighting against Savage with the Macho King.
Yeah, man.
That's when I was more a Warrior fan. When he fought against Rick Rude was my guy.
Yeah,
so Rick Rude didn't fight Hulk Hogan. Even though he was a bad guy, Rick Rude didn't put him against Hogan. So Rick Rude, he was my guy. Like if it was like bad guys, Rick Rude was my guy. Fan favorites. You know, a lot of times I rooted for the fan favorites, and as I got older, it was more the villains. Because then Ric Flair was my guy, you know. But Rick Rude and Hogan, late 80s, those are my two guys by far. It's random. Everyone's like, Rick Rude? How's that not Piper? And I'm like, no, Rick Rude was my guy. I didn't watch much WCW and NWA at that time.
How about events around the New York area that you've been to? Some of the standout, because you've been in attendance at some big events, and New York's held on a pedestal when it comes to wrestling with Chicago, Philadelphia. So how was it, your experiences watching the events, man?
Madison Square Garden, they call it the Mecca, they call it. Mm-hmm. But Madison Square Garden, I was there for the curtain call with the whole Hall Nash, that whole situation there. My father used to work at this job, ABN something or other, some bank. Used to get free box tickets. He used to always go to the events. So if he didn't get the box tickets, we would go regardless. Now, in the beginning, I would get dragged to go because I was a young kid. I didn't want to go all the time. But then as I got older, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, so yeah, we're going to wrestling, you know. So WrestleMania 10, I was probably in like 3rd, 4th grade, maybe. I had my WrestleMania 10 shirt. I probably still have it somewhere. I tried to sell it in an auction. Nobody wanted to buy it.
Why did nobody take it, Rich?
I don't know.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, you know.
But I still got it. Nobody signed it, though. I still got the shirt. It's somewhere in this apartment. But WrestleMania 10 was there for that. The whole Owen Hart beating Bret, which I was shocked that happened. I was shocked. You know, Owen, I think, he was more serious about the wrestling than Bret. He had again, I was a big Bret fan. I know you, Bret's one of your main guys. I was a big Bret fan. Mm-hmm. Was he my top guy? No. But Owen, from everybody I've spoken to in the business, they all said Owen took wrestling way more serious than Bret. And I know Bret takes it. Bret, his whole house is still like his own like shrine of stuff. You know, Bret's titles, Bret's this.
Yeah.
And I've sent Bret a lot of stuff for private signings. So I know Bret, you know, he sends me pictures and stuff of, you know, him signing the stuff. And I see the man's house, and it's like, damn, everything, his whole wall, see how my wall's like plain? His wall is like, his wall's all Bret Hart. You know, but Owen, the guy took it 100 times more serious to my understanding. And Bret, you know, I'm sure you, maybe you didn't. I'll tell it anyway, for those who didn't know. I'm sure you know, but for those who don't know, the Tom Mcgee story, holy grail of tapes.
Absolutely.
You know, okay, right. Okay, so Bret Hart made this guy, Tom Mcgee, for those who don't know, made him look like a star. He asked him before the match, what are your 3 or 4 best moves? And the guy's like, okay, what do you want to do? And Bret's like, don't worry about it. I'll call the match. He made this guy, Tom Mcgee, look so great that Vince McMahon gave Tom Mcgee a 4-year contract and said he's going to be the next Hulk Hogan. Didn't work out that way for Tom Mcgee. Tom Mcgee these days skinnier than me. You know, it is what it is. But Bret was one of those guys that he could make other guys look good. And a lot of these technical wrestlers, they could do that. Dean Malenko, dare I say Chris Benoit? Because I'm going to say Chris Benoit. You know, I'm going to throw Horowitz in there, technical wrestler, Bret Hart. These guys made people look good. And Bret pretty much can wrestle anybody. Big guys, small guys. You know, Horowitz, same thing. And again, as a kid, I wasn't a big Horowitz fan. As I got older and I met the guy and I learned more about him, I was like, oh, you know what? Horowitz, I respect. But back then as a kid, I'm not going to say that. I told Horowitz as a kid, I didn't care for him one way or the other. But as I was saying, pretty much, Barry, I really didn't know much about, other than he always lost. I didn't really know much about him. I did know, I'm not going to lie, I did remember him in Global Wrestling. I don't know if they had that where you guys lived.
No, we didn't get all the territorial stuff.
That was on ESPN.
Yeah.
So Global Wrestling, Barry would win matches. So he was a 2-time light heavyweight champion. He beat X-Pac, I think, and he beat Jerry Lynn. So I knew the guy did win matches, but again, I was still young. I didn't really know much about it. I had no idea the guy beat Ken Shamrock in 1988. You guys probably don't know that until I just told you. So, there's things, a lot of house shows, guys like Horowitz and Brooklyn Brawler and Iron Mike Sharp, they would win, but people didn't see it. So when they fought on TV, you'd be like, okay, Iron Mike Sharp did win when we saw him at the house shows because there wasn't much TV back then. So the house shows of Iron Mike Sharp beat, and they would put the guys against each other. Like Sam Houston was another guy. He's Jake the Snake's half-brother.
Yeah.
He didn't win many matches, but Barry would beat him and Sam Houston would beat him back. Dusty Wolf was another one. You should get him on the show. Dusty Wolf's on Facebook.
You've put in my way, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I just need to follow it up.
I don't know him that well. I know Barry. They kind of live near each other. I talked to Barry. I know you had Randy Hogan. Randy's another one. I didn't know him that well. I vaguely remembered him in WCW, and me and him became good friends. I know he's been on your show. Randy's a good guy. A lot of these guys, you don't really realize until you get older, that they put their time in. Absolutely. And that, the bookers determine who wins and who loses. But, at the end of the day, they're still taking a beating just like everybody else. There's certain guys that can't wrestle. And I'm going to say it only because Bret Hart says it 100 times. It's ingrained in my head. Goldberg couldn't really wrestle. Okay? And to Bret Hart, we'll always say, why is Goldberg in the Hall of Fame? Now, listen, I always liked Goldberg. Fan of Goldberg, I like Goldberg. But when he did what he did with the kick, and you're a big Bret Hart fan, so I'm sure you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
When he up Bret Hart and ruined his career, I didn't like Goldberg after that. Now, it wasn't done on purpose, but
you got to take care of the guys, haven't you?
But they rushed him in, so that wasn't. They gave him the streak quick. They rushed him in. Mm-hmm. The guy had the look. Certain guys, you have to build them up. If you remember WWF, they had Great Khali that time. Couldn't wrestle for nothing. Couldn't wrestle for anything. He had the world title. He beat The Undertaker, and then next month he was losing to Rey Mysterio. Yeah,
it's just sometimes how it goes, isn't it? But he was imposing. It was the look, wasn't it? But he couldn't do. He was limited, wasn't he?
And in my opinion, the belts just change hands so often these days.
They do, mate.
I can't even watch the product that often. I can't even watch it.
Feuds need to be built how they used to be built years ago, but there's too many pay-per-views and stuff now and different things going on.
There's too many guys. Like let's say WWF, when they bought WCW, they should have never told anybody they bought it and just had them do their own thing. WWF does their own thing. Maybe once a year they fight each other. And that's what they should have did. But they let the cat out of the bag too soon. And the contracts, I'm sure you know, a lot of them was signed to Turner. They weren't signed to WCW. So they didn't have the best guys in. And the whole Alliance angle, which I thought was going to be good, it wasn't good. They didn't have any good guys. No Hall, no Hogan, no Sting. How do you have WCW when the main guy's Buff Bagwell? Nothing against Buff, nice guy, but he didn't last very long, WWF.
That's it, man. That's it. Rich, I need to ask you now. Where can we find you? Where can we find Richie? Where can we find GTG? Just surmising about GTG if you can.
We have a website for clothing, which I do not know by heart, but I will tell you the group page, which we'll always post on. www.facebook.com/groups/Good Times Guaranteed. You go there, hit enter, show the group page. You go check me. I believe my thing is www.facebook.com/Richie Sorrentino. Should be. Don't quote me on this. If not, inbox Stewie and he'll be more than happy to tell you my Facebook. But yeah, those are the main two places to find me. My Twitter, I need to update. My Instagram, I need to update. I think the only one I have on Instagram, I don't really have many people on it. I really don't use Instagram. Everybody tells me to use Instagram. I never really got into that. I was a big MySpace guy, but...
You need to Instagram. Instagram's good, you know.
as everybody says, I just never really got into that. You know, I gotta get the ball rolling.
You said that about the social stuff, didn't you, at the start of the interview? So yeah, that's cool, man. Richie Sorrentino, Mr. GTG, good times guaranteed himself. Thank you very much for coming on today, man.
Flying the flag for the UK from rugby, this is Evade Escape with their single, Already Know.
This episode is brought to you in association with Powered 4 TV, so go and check them out for anything wrestling related, old events, new events when we come out of COVID, podcasts, you name it, it's all there at Powered 4 TV, so find them across social media.